a look at what happens there. And yes, that mouthpiece is a huge factor in this loss for Matt Mitrione because he allowed it to get to him mentally. He allowed it to come out. It caused him to think about something other than a man trying to do damage to him in front of him. And that's the difference right now in this fight.
Heredia's a journeyman type. He's cagey in there.
Oh, he may be ready to go, though. He may be ready to go. Hrgović opening up.
Heredia says he's getting hit behind the head, but he keeps dipping his head down there. Hrgović has no choice but to hit him there.
Trying to find his legs, but I don't think they're there. Heredia goes down. And they will stop it. It's over. Hrgović with another knockout win. It seems like it's just a matter of time here before Rincon puts his final stamp on proceedings.
Rincon just barely missed.
Oh, that right hand on the temple. Down goes Guevara.
With the right hook again. Rincon cannot miss with that right hook.
He may just ride it out. He does. And Alex Rincon back on the KO train with win number 7.
Loves to throw a big overhand right. John, oh, he's hurt. Yeah. He's stunned just off of that hand.
That's
stunned.
It is all over. Just like that. Vitaly Minakov by knockout.
Look at that shot that Vitaly Minakov first hit Tim Johnson with. It stunned him. It froze him. It was not, didn't look big, but it was solid, straight, and it hit the mark.
Good counters up by Echeverria against the ropes there.
He does everything right, and then that happens to him. Echeverria down for the 3rd time here tonight.
Because the taller Echeverria stayed there too long and got hit by that right hook by Lopez.
And that is it. The power is there when Lopez needed it most, and he gets his 21st professional KO.
Get away from Patrick, made a mistake, turned his back, Patrick was on it, and that was a quick end of the fight. And Bandejas has learned from that experience and said, I just need to settle it. Oh, big shot, he's down.
It is all over, just like that. The turn moved in quickly. Bandejas landed with a big shot. And this fight is done. Wow.
Very patient puncher as well, because he is a puncher, but he's patient with it. He lets you make mistakes. And when he puts his punches together in combinations, they're really nice and fluid as well.
Perez, a bit of a, oh, a quick knockdown, a flash knockdown, and Perez says, what just happened?
Wow. And he doesn't want to get up, Todd.
It is over. Incredible. Shakram Giasov with his 7th knockout and the fastest of his pro career. A complete whitewash of Darlis Perez, who barely got out of his corner to start the fight.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Just before the break there, we talked about how Pittsburgh feels about it, the whole Antonio Brown situation. A lot of us in this room, well, 3 out of us grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, very much understand the Yinzer thoughts in the fact that they have to witness and go through this Antonio Brown thing and be a part of the story is what I find most hilarious. I'm assuming this next guest, our first guest ever, a radio show host in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, doesn't find it hilarious at all. Ladies and gentlemen, he's with WCW. You can listen to him every single day for 3 hours a day, 105.90X, Mark Madden. How's it going, Mark?
Pat, I do find all this hilarious. I don't think I provide the Yinzer point of view. I think with the tested IQ of 166, I'm somewhat above that. But my first thought after watching last night's game is I can't imagine the New England Patriots would feel that Antonio Brown is worth the risk given the performance their receiving corps put on. But I think it's going to be a situation where Belichick doesn't feel comfortable with him. Antonio Brown won't last more than a couple of weeks there. So I feel the ball is totally in AB's court.
Well, I think going into the game last night, the Steelers didn't have much of a chance anyways. The Patriots are 40-0 against AFC opponents whenever Julian Edelman and Tom Brady play. Think about that. I mean, that's just unbelievable. But now you bring in Antonio Brown, it maybe helps open things up even more for Julian Edelman. I assume that they're going to make it work just like Randy Moss, as opposed to what they did with Ocho Cinco. You don't see that at all?
Well, yeah, but, Moss and Ocho Cinco, that was like having an M80 explode. Antonio Brown is nuclear. They've never handled anybody like him before, and I know that Belichick and that organization pride themselves on reclamation projects, but I think this just may be too much for them to work with. I'm amused that Tom Brady invited AB to stay at his house. I mean, I wouldn't trust a guy to wash my car, and Brady's going to have him stay in his house. You're right, Pat, though, that the upside could be tremendous. I'm just not sure they need the upside. I'm not sure the risk is worth the reward because I don't think they need the reward.
That's a hilarious thought. Like, hey, you don't need the up. You guys are already, you won by 30. You don't need that. That's a hilarious take. And I think it's funny that Tom Brady and Giselle are basically adopting Antonio Brown. Right? Move into the house. Come on, let's get you on the TB12 treatment. He's going to be having the avocado ice cream. He's going to be doing the things. Think about Antonio Brown's life.
I think that's the kind of thing where you ask him to stay, hoping he'll say no.
Man, you have a absolute hatred for the guy. I would assume.
Oh no, I don't hate the guy. I just think he's an embarrassment to himself into the game. the idiot cost himself $21 million in guaranteed money, and now Pizza Hut and Pepsi act like he smells bad. So there's no way this guy did right by himself. People act like there was some kind of grand scheme to go to New England.
I did.
Not at that cost, not with all that guaranteed money disappearing, because that's all he'd done for how many months, Pat, is complain about lack of guaranteed money.
Well, I think he was just complaining about guaranteed money strictly so he could get out of there. I think it was a whole plan to get from Pittsburgh to the Patriots. And the Patriots offered Pittsburgh Steelers a first-round draft pick, and Tomlin and them said no. So he had to figure out a way. Him and Rosenhaus were like, all right, what do we got to do? Well, let's take a crap ton of money from Oakland. Let's go dap up the quarterback real quick, and then let's go ahead and bury everything so they have to cut me, and then the Patriots can pick me up for nothing, and the Patriots do what the Patriots always do, which is get better while everybody else seems to throw fits.
So you think that that's worth $21 million guaranteed in totally immolating your brand?
You know what? It's interesting because he does have expensive tastes. I mean, he bought that $1 million watch on the internet. I would assume his YouTube channel is bringing in a lot of money, though, right now at the moment. I think.
Oh, Pat, you couldn't be more off base on this.
Mark, I think he's going to end up making the money back, though. I think he's going to get re-upped with the Patriots. He's probably.
No, there's no way. He's 32 years old, and people won't forget what happened in Oakland. I think his best hope is he keeps performing at a high level and then gets a series of one-year deals like Darrelle Revis did.
That's good business, by the way. Darrelle Revis considered the greatest businessman potentially to ever play. But with that being said, the Patriots have a noted mindset, that whatever you did before here, we don't care about. It's like a cleansing, like a rebirth. Whenever you get here, just do things the Patriot way. And I think Antonio Brown will buy in because he has faith that the system works. I think in Oakland, he wasn't 100% sold that the system works. Shouldn't have taken a guaranteed contract. Shouldn't have went there if that's how he felt. I would have never done this thing, but I do believe this was all a plan to get to a better team.
Yeah, no, Pat. Again, you couldn't be more off base, but if you keep saying it loud enough, people will believe it.
That's my move. That's my move.
I just don't think that first off, that ties into him thinking winning is important. He doesn't think winning is important. He never has. He's part of a new generation of athlete that just doesn't care at all about winning.
Jeez.
And if he doesn't get his numbers, but the Patriots win, that won't matter to him. He'll still be pissed off. I want to see what happens the first time he improvises on a route and Brady chews him out on the sidelines. I want to see what happens the first time Edelman gets more targets than he does. This is just going to be horrible, potentially. I mean, but Pat, if he does toe the line up there, well, then he's a sellout. Then he's a stooge.
Oh,
he always says he's going to. No, that's true. Don't laugh. He always says he's going to play by his own rules, and suddenly he's willing to play by somebody else's. That's selling out.
Oh, my God. What a ridiculous take there. Just because he finally decided to buy into a program again. By the way, no problems really existed in Pittsburgh until the end.
Somebody who walked away from millions himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, mine was nowhere near that.
You have a unique understanding of this, but I think you screwed up too.
Well, I mean, you've said that a lot. Speaking of screwed up, The Steelers swore they got better by getting rid of all these people, addition by subtraction. And then on opening night, not that I overreact at all, I still think the Browns have a chance. 7 of the 12 playoff teams last year made to the playoffs after losing in the first game. What do you think about the Steelers? Why is that happening? What's happening there right now?
Oh, they'll win the division. They'll go 10-6. This is the Patriots are their bogey team, just a nightmare for them. But I don't think you can flush the season after losing on the road to the world champions. Do you?
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I just think a lot of people expected a little bit of a closer game, but I think the first week is quite an adjustment period. I would assume that the people at NBC that put it on Sunday Night Football expected a little bit of a closer game, but I mean, the first week is always a toss-up. You have no idea. You're pretty optimistic about the Steelers still.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say I'm optimistic. I just think they're in a division that's really overrated. I think the Browns are really overrated. We saw a bit of evidence of that yesterday. Baltimore did a number on Miami, but I think a lot of teams are going to do a number on Miami. The thing that discouraged me the most about the Steelers was I thought it was really a chicken scratch game for them. They were very unaggressive. On offense, they kept running out of bounds. They couldn't break a single tackle. On defense, their tackles got broken all the time. I think Ben had a real – his touch just wasn't there. The tight end disappeared from the game plan. Juju and T.J. Watt on each side of the ball got double-teamed into oblivion. That's the Patriots. I think a truer test is going to be Seattle, who are a pretty good team. I think like a wild card level team, give or take. They're coming east, which is always a tough thing to do. But I think if the Steelers don't beat Seattle and look bad in the process, then you have real worries. But I think it's probably safest just to write this off as a bad game, albeit an unbelievably bad game. I was hosting a viewing party at a bar celebrations in Imperial here in Pittsburgh, and the crowd turned on me about 10 minutes in. it was, did you think they'd be this bad? I go, no, I was hoping for better, but they didn't want to hear that.
Well, Mark, I appreciate you so much. You're a first-ever guest. I'll never, ever forget it.
I appreciate the honor, Pat. That's good stuff, and good luck with all of this as well.
Hey, you too, man. I can't thank you enough. Cheers, Mark.
All right,
Yep. Oh, geez, Ty. Ty has to reach. Ty has a quick trigger there. But I think what he said was interesting there about there was evidence of a team being overrated yesterday in being the Browns, but still saying that the Steelers, after yesterday's performance, would do better. I think the Browns performed better than the Steelers yesterday. I think the Browns showed a little bit of hope yesterday. Now, granted, they're not playing against the Patriots, but the team that I'm impressed by yesterday, and it's tough, Gumpy, diehard Dolphins fan in the back. Your team has made it very difficult for us to judge anything, right? Because it is very obvious. They got players saying, hey, get us the hell out of here. We want out of Miami. It is obvious whenever they sent old, big lung, gas mask, incredible left tackle Laramie Tunzel out of town that they were tanking. And this is an interesting thing. The Ravens looked good against the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. And just like Mark said, a lot of teams are going to look good. But Lamar Jackson throwing the ball looked incredible. I mean, more than impressive, incredible. He was dropping the ball into a bucket. And you can't really tell if a team's good or not whenever you're playing against a team that is schematically not trying. But if you can tell that a guy can throw the ball or not, it seems like Lamar Jackson completely learned how to play quarterback this offseason as opposed to just being a running back. Whenever the Ravens were trying to give the message that they were changing football. Remember, we're going to be ground and pound. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Then Hollywood Brown comes in and Lamar Jackson starts dropping it in a damn bucket, Dix. Just dropping it in a bucket.
Hollywood Brown, 4 catches, 147 yards. He only played 12 snaps.
Wow. That's like an Alabama-type stat line. Mm-hmm. You know, like the University of Alabama, like Tua only threw for 400 yards today. Played 1 quarter. You know, like that's the type of thing. You bench a guy because things are going so well. But I like the Ravens a lot.
But there's no part of you, Pat, that thinks we need to wait till maybe week 3 when they have a stronger test because he was pretty much free of pressure.
Yeah, but I think even whenever you watch a quarterback do like 7-on-7, okay, in practice, or Skelly or even routes on air, okay, even routes on air. If you see that a quarterback can spin it, is the lingo that everybody uses, and deliver it in a spot, you're like, oh, that guy's good. Hey, that guy's got something. I think you did that with Lamar yesterday.
So definitely fundamentals, techniques are improved.
So he looks better, and he even gave the quote like, "Not bad for a running back." Like I think he was even like
feeling it.
A lot of you were saying I couldn't throw a damn ball. A lot of you were saying that. I think even Harbaugh said that whenever they were like, listen, we got to do what we got to do. This kid's our first-round pick. We're just going to run the ball all day. And then Lamar was like, excuse me, I'm a pretty athletic guy. Why don't we just let me try to figure out how to throw the ball? And they did that in – oh, boy. In the studio, I have okay, so those that are just listening, I have a very nice desk. The Zone flipped our studio into something that is a much better use of our space. We had been using this for 3 years. Looked like somebody's basement. The Zone brought literally every employee they have from the worldwide, all of them, and flipped this thing into something that's beautiful. And the stool that I have next to my desk, because I'm a wanderer, I like to walk, I like to move. It's a 400-pound stool. This stool is a 400-pound stool.
It's the heaviest stool ever made.
Ever. And I almost just broke my ankle, almost got on IR like Patrick Mahomes there. So if you hear anything in the background, it's us getting used to the brand new studio. I think I was on the last team that people considered tanking in the NFL.
So I was gonna
the Suck for Luck campaign that a lot of people talked about. In the locker room, 3/4 of the people on the roster, okay? You have your big names. The people that wear the $350,000 watches, you know.
Sure.
The people that do all the commercials. The people that do all the like pre-show rolls where there's like fireworks behind them and Carrie Underwood singing. Then there's the rest of the team. And those guys, they ain't sucking for anything. The only thing they're sucking for is nothing, literally nothing. They might not be great dads because they have to be at work all the time and focus on playing football, but a lot of them have like 17 kids. They got a wife. They're just trying to make it on special teams. Then you got a reporter coming up like, are you guys sucking for luck? And that guy's like, I got a lot of mouths to feed. I am playing as hard as I can. So anytime you hear a media person ask a player like, do you think you guys are tanking? You always hear the player like, I'm not tanking. I got a lot of money on the line here. I got a Pro Bowl I'm trying to make. I got an NBA All-Star game I'm trying to make. I got a contract I'm trying to reach. But the coaches and organization can be on the same page there. And I didn't realize that until later in the season. When you listen to the OGs talk, okay, the OGs are the people that are allowed to have opinions. I was never one of them. Robert Mathis, other guys, OGs. And I would just sit down at their lunch tables, you know, because whenever you are tanking, you're losing a lot of games. I think we lost 8 straight or something like that. The building is miserable. In the NFL, you are a complete slave. Your happiness is a complete slave to winning and losing. That's it. If you win, you're happy. You lose, you're miserable.
Sure.
You think you're going to get cut. Coaches think they're going to get cut. Even the chefs think their food is not good enough. You know what I mean? Everybody in the building thinks they're getting fired. Like, oh, they're going to do a full rehaul or a full, rehaul?
Overhaul.
Who?
Overhaul.
Yeah, you get it. There's an R and an E in there.
yeah, you're fine.
Doing a full overhaul of this building. So I'm like, there's no way. Everybody's miserable. There's no way we're doing this. And then you sit down at a cafeteria table or something, and you hear one of the defensive players like, why did we call zone on 3rd and 1? And they're like, I don't know. We also did blah, blah, blah on blah, blah, blah. And you start putting 2 and 2 together. If you have a little bit of a football IQ, you're like, oh, we are sucking for luck right now. Oh, they're setting up the players to lose at the moment. Oh, this is all starting to make a lot more sense. And I could never do that, right? I'm not just hitting shanks on purpose, so that can never affect me. Maybe if they would have went out and said, hey, Pat, need you onside kick every kick, just so we can give them the ball at the 50. Once they get up 21 or so, then you can kick it deep. If they did that to me, that'd be okay. I'd understand that we were sucking for luck. But it's those little things where people are deciding to tank or not, and it feels as if the players think the coaches are doing that. What happened with the Colts was the coaches were told to do this. Hey, you do bad now, we'll be great next year. There's this once-in-a-generation quarterback from Stanford, built like an avatar, next John Elway. You guys suck this year, don't worry about it. Next year, whole new toy in the garage. We got a Ferrari coming in, a Tesla even, something big. They're like, you got it. And then whammy, they all got fired. Right after the season, everybody got fired. You all suck. So now they try to get another job, and their resume has that they were 2-14 with the Colts last time. Why were you calling a zone defense on a 3rd and 1? You suck as a coach. He's like, well, I think that. It's an interesting situation.
That's why I feel like you said the players definitely aren't tanking because they're putting stuff on film, which coaches are judging all the time for their next job. Yeah. I feel like coaches would be the same way. Like, it would be tough unless you're Brian Flores. It's your first year, and you were guaranteed, hey, do this year. 1 year, we can keep you. It's only your first year here.
Bill Polian got fired after that suck for luck year.
Well, there you go.
And I would assume he was probably pretty instrumental in the decision on whether or not to suck. And Jim Irsay's like, hey, dog, you gotta go, bro. Bringing in a new guy.
Business.
The NFL's a crazy place right now. Just getting started. We'll get some callers on the other side of the break. I'm excited for that. A lot of the OGs on the line. We'll get to that. We'll talk about more life. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
I'm your host, Jacob Israel Mintz, and of course, Jordan Elan Schusterman.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the 2019 Food Fest Draft, where we're going to go back and forth and draft.
You got it.
15 items each. I am going
My bad.
total homer pick, and I'm taking the draft selection.
And I think this is going to sit pretty well in the old tum-tum.
All right, wow.
I'm going to cha-cha slide them down the gullet. Maybe I can eat them while I do this or something.
Okay.
Before the year, he was like the breakout. He was a sexy breakout candidate, and also just the sexy guy.
Right.
But and he started the year like a little
It was
unsexy.
like, come on, where's this breakout, man?
That damn autocorrect.
Yeah. Shocking graphic. I'm not even the Orioles fan. The pain of just getting whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Speaking of pain, Jordan.
Yeah, interesting transition.
I don't think you realize what you've walked into.
Mark my words, that motherfucker is going down.
Murder that dude, bro.
I finish you off and end your career.
Tell me what it feel like to have no fear at all and do it here in real life. Real time right now, all day long. I know it's special and I know you know it feels right. You're the reason it will last forever. You're the star that's staring back up in the mirror. Cause it's special when you stand out from the rest. When you know that you're the best.
DAZN and MLB present Change Up, the live whip-around show that changes how you watch the ballgame.
Every night, this is going to be the place to be.
Jump in and out of the best plays as they happen with our team of incredible hosts.
What?
And big-name guests.
Hunter Pence, you've done work.
That's right.
Rags Electric Factory.
Wait, it's time for Bat Flip, boss.
We're whipping them around, baby. Whip it, whip it.
Live every night, only on DAZN.
Hey, and we're back on the internet, not on radio yet. So let's get these out now. Fuck. Show's going pretty good, though, thus far. I think the people on the internet are getting to see a lot of us adjust to the new studio. We appreciate you so much. Utilize the hashtag Pat McAfee Show Live if you would like your question to be answered on the show. We have people calling in for the radio part. 1-833-622-3331. Old T9 text days got me there.
Pretty impressive you already remembered that.
Well, it's my name, so like T9. You remember?
Oh, you can remember that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Been spelling that out for a long time.
Yeah. People that are watching at home have seen me sweat profusely for the last.
Lights are hot.
It is very hot in here. I do believe we have to, and apparently the mics are hot during the breaks too. I got a text from Sam. I was like, hey, I can hear you in the background right now. So let's remember that. Let's keep that in the old noggin.
Good to know.
For these types of segments where the DAZN commercials don't match up with the radio commercials, we're gonna do we'll do random things here. I think we'll do a Foxy charity basketball shoot at one point because we have a camera facing the basketball court. There just so happens to be.
There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
A lot of it out there. Go back to it.
Yep.
Foxy will shoot a 3 right there at some point this week for
good-looking
probably like
shot.
10 grand. Anyways, we're back in like 5 seconds on radio. We'll get right to the phones. Oh, we gotta wait for the music. 10 seconds of quiet, right? That's radio rules. Yikes. I mean, how could you not dance? Are we back? Nick, what's the name of that song?
That is the B-Boy Boogie, funky disco rap bass groove with percussion, claps, DJ effects, and guitar.
I could hear all of those little things in there, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a good recipe. You need every ingredient. By the way, boys, our competition in this world, the sports stock world,
Yeah.
everybody's talking about the Browns being overhyped. Everybody. After one game. One game.
How dare
they were
say
only
that?
down 2 basically until the last quarter.
And then Baker, really good, supposed to be, threw 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter.
Sure.
Will you relax?
I'm just putting out stats.
It's a bad quarter.
Negative stats.
Listen, I would like the
Can't argue with
narrative.
stats.
Hey, the opinions of Diggs do not reflect.
Well, I mean, if we're going to dog the Steelers after one game, we could dog the Browns after one game.
But they did play bad the entire game versus Cleveland, who was coming back and playing well.
Were they?
For a good portion.
If you want a positive note on the day from the Browns, Freddie Kitchens did break a record held by Bill Belichick with his time with the Browns.
What was it?
Most penalties in a game in
All
franchise
right.
history with 18.
And a guy kicked the guy in the face.
Hey, that was like a bicycle kick, too. He went with the left to kind of wind up and then hit him with the right there, right to the jaw. That was a wild scene. Not very disciplined there in the dog pound.
That's the crane. That's the crane move.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is the karate.
No can defend.
All right, let's get to the phones. I'm excited. Connor in New York wants to talk about the gosh darn Jets. Connor, what's up?
Hey, Cuzzies, how we doing? Happy Monday.
Hey, Cuzzo, how's it going? Everything's great. A little hot in the studio, but we're feeling good. How are you, Connor?
Doing well, not going to lie. It's nice to hear Gumpy's friendly Canadian voice instead of the Sal Volcano-looking Gonzo.
Well, I mean, we miss Gonzo, but how was the conversation with Gumpy when you called in? I'm excited to hear this. You're our first caller.
I love hearing it. So he was a little tired going out first, but I know he'll bring the energy going forward, and I know he will continue to do so.
Connor from New York trying to get Gumpy fired early. Connor, what do you want to talk about? You got a question?
Yeah, I want to talk about the goddamn Jets for a little bit here.
Oh, can't say what you just said. Gosh darn, you could say. Can't say what you just said. I mean, Connor.
Radio, bro.
We're on, not
First-
even that.
first goal.
We're on in Italy. We're on in Italy. The Pope
I
is
tried to keep it
potentially
less curse
listening.
words. It wasn't too much curse there.
The Vatican listens.
The Vatican is listening to this show in Italy through DAZN, and you just, the GD will get
We'll
you.
say the gosh damn Jets.
Okay, yeah, that works.
I'll accept it.
Caught also works. Gosh darn potentially works. Just that first one and that second one, while we're on in Italy, it won't be long, just can't have. What do you think about it, man?
So I want to talk here how not only did the Pats scheme to get AD, but then we blow a 16-0 lead, 4 turnovers, a pick six, and a safety.
Well, Connor, I appreciate the call. Here we were, right? The Jets fans.
Uh-huh.
We signed Lev Bell. We got this young quarterback. We're off and running. Gary V is everywhere wearing his hat, talking about how he's going to buy the team. Got a young Darnold. I'm excited. You got Fireman Ed, who was gone from the Jets for a while, came back, saw some promise, back in the crowd. By the way, thanks for your service, Fireman Ed. Also a fireman. People forget, it's not just a name. Thanks for your community service.
Real hero.
Mike Greenberg, so pumped up. Quinnen Williams is there. We got a team, young quarterback. Didn't love that they fired the GM after he spent all the money, but I think there was optimism in the Jets fan base. Then, in the middle of the third quarter, Josh Allen and Bills Mafia took all of their happiness, all of their emotions, went right up on top of an RV and went through a table like it was a tailgate. RKO out of nowhere. Power bomb to Greenberg's dreams that this year is going to be good. It's the first week.
I thought Lev looked good.
Lev looked good. I think the thing about Lev was, and Antonio Brown kind of took all the attention from the departure of the Steelers, kind of all the attention nationally. Le'Veon Bell was a great football player, and his thing was strictly business. Was it good business? Nobody, I guess we'll find out down the road if it was good business or not. It wasn't like drama, right? It was a little bit of drama with his agent and the Steelers, which is always going to happen in business, but his was strictly business purposes. This is how much I want. He even freaked out in his front yard. He's like, yo, I need 17 M's. That's what he said he needed. Steelers wouldn't get there. I think they were at like 14 or 15 or something like that. It was very close, but he said, nope, I'm going to sit out in Miami. I'm going to rap a little bit. I'm going to ride some yachts. And then the Jets paid him, and they were back. Le'Veon Bell is a magic man. Now you see me, now you don't. He's an incredible running back. He's shifty. He's got great hands, plays football well, and I think that's why the Jets were so excited. The Jets fans were so excited. The young quarterback, take care of him by having a stud in the back. But now the question is, with all that going on and how good that Jets team was being talked, they weren't being hyped up like the Browns were, but people were talking about the Jets having a comeback, you know. There's another fan base very loyal because they could have picked the Giants fans when they were kids. You know, it's like the Jets and Mets fans. They could have picked the Yankees and Giants. They chose not to. So you know they're a loyal bunch. They kind of like misery a little bit, but whenever things start working out well, it's good for them. And the question now is Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills not only the greatest team in the NFL, but in history? Do the 72 Dolphins have to worry about the Buffalo Bills being undefeated right now?
They're a scrappy bunch.
Bro. Josh Allen, too?
He might be the greatest running quarterback of all time.
Maybe. We don't know.
Mike Vick who?
We have no idea. It's week one. All of those records are on the table for Josh Allen. He could potentially go on to go undefeated, become the next 72 Dolphins. Is he likely? I don't know anybody else on the team. Oh, Frank Gore's up there.
Yeah.
I like Frank Gore.
Yeah, they cut Shady for Frank Gore.
Yeah, get rid of LaShawn McCoy. Let him go to the Chiefs and help them out somehow.
I mean, they really do not have a lot of names. Like, if you were to name a wide receiver, you probably couldn't. But they're a scrappy bunch.
The Buffalo Bills and Bills Mafia also deserve this.
They encompass the city.
They do. I'm happy for them. The Jets, though, gosh, they're going to be so miserable for so long.
Not a great kicking situation in New York either.
Yeah, that's happening in a lot of places, and I think that's what Corey from Indianapolis wants to talk about. Corey, what's up, brother?
What's up, Pat?
Hey,
I got a question for you.
Okay.
What in the front door happened to Adam Vinatieri last night?
Hey, great work there, by the way, with the front door.
Very nice.
Corey,
Hey, man, I've been watching.
That won't go unnoticed. I would like to let you know that. Corey, great question. A lot of people in Indianapolis were talking about that. A lot of people were saying, excuse me, is Adam Vinatieri over the hill? Much like they were saying about Drew Brees last year whenever they lost to the Buccaneers first week. What we learned yesterday about Adam Vinatieri was that he's not good at kicking at soccer stadiums in Los Angeles. We learned that yesterday.
That's not something you're going to know either.
No.
Until it happens.
No, you know, granted, he played in NFL Europe like 45 years ago where they played in soccer stadiums in Amsterdam and in Munich and all over the place.
Different ball, though, right? Yeah.
Different air, different environment. It's
way less pollution than now.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was no climate change.
There were so many things that factored into Vinatieri missing a couple of kicks yesterday. Everybody wants him to retire. I think he even made a statement, something about like, if I was a GM, I would think about getting rid of me. I think he even said that, which I don't like. Vinatieri, I don't like that.
Yeah, he said the loss is 100% on me, and then he said if you're a general manager, you'd cut me, wouldn't you?
That's because he's a consummate pro.
Let me tell you about Adam Vinatieri. Adam Vinatieri was the guy in the locker room who had no idea the amount of pull he had, right? Vinatieri has no idea that he's Adam Vinatieri. Vinatieri somehow has blinded himself that he's not the greatest kicker of all time. He's not the most influential person in any locker room he walks into. He has somehow camouflaged all of that to remember that he's just a South Dakota kid, right? Just a hardworking guy who had to grind his way to make it. He had to go to Europe. He had to sit out a year. He played for the Patriots for all those years. And if you ever watch him in the offseason, it makes sense. Dude's old, 46 years old, and not old in real life, but old in the NFL. And all he does is work in the offseason. If there's a 22-year-old kid who just got drafted who's benching, Adam Vinatieri's trying to compete with him. Vinatieri is owning it. I think he's probably embarrassed, which is crazy, by the way, that you can be 24 years in the league and be embarrassed by something, and when you're guaranteed going to the Hall of Fame. And I think this is going to make him even better. I'd assume He's dealing with some lingering ailment somewhere in his body. He's 46 playing in the NFL. That's going to happen. No matter what your position is, it's a lot of wear and tear on your hips, on your knees, on everything. But I would expect Adam Vinatieri to bounce back in beautiful fashion.
I hope this isn't true. And they say you either die the hero or you live long enough to become the villain.
Don't you put that out there.
You weren't saying it. I said it.
Yeah, and also remember, Degenerate Diggs, his opinions do not reflect that of his employer. I think Vinatieri is going to bounce back in a beautiful fashion. I honestly do. I hope he does. I did not like watching it. It was tough to watch yesterday. Because the extra point, by the way, just took a right turn out of nowhere, which means he hit the ball a little fat. So whenever something goes from left to right, a little inside out, it means you hit it a little bit fat, just like a golf shot. You hit it a little bit fat. That's an 1/8 of an inch miss probably by him. That ball was going a long way. He's making 60-yarders in warm-ups. Then he got a little fat on it again, had a little X ball go to the left. I think he's going to bounce back.
If we're being honest, too, Vinny does not seem like an L.A. type guy. I think the whole vibe probably was just in his head there.
I didn't even think about him landing in Los Angeles and everything being off.
Yeah.
Hey, he did used to have like a Ferrari, though, back in the day. Hey, I'll never forget.
Nice dresser, too.
Great dresser.
Yeah.
He looks good. He's going to kick. There's no way that's how he's going to go out. There's no way that's how
he's going to be fine, and the Colts are going to be fine. They look great.
I agree.
Is that early kickoff on the West Coast really that big of a deal as a player? Like if you're coming from the Eastern time zone?
No, because we just stay on our time zone. Mm-hmm. The West Coast, the East Coast that Mark Madden alluded to, I think that would be difficult. I mean, Zito flies from Chicago or drives from Chicago to Indianapolis, which is 1 hour different, and he can't operate for a week.
I get so jet lagged.
No, because west to east, it's a 10 a.m. kickoff for the West teams. But when you go east to west, it was still a 1 p.m. kickoff for them.
Hey, Todd. Hey, Todd.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything going on in the real world out there that people should know about that are listening?
Yeah, we got a 74-year-old woman in India who gave birth to twins, Pat. How about that for science? There should be an age limit on that, don't you think? In vitro fertilization. Maybe they cap that off at maybe 55.
I think we just keep it going.
Hey.
I think we just keep it going. If you're 100 and give birth, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
74 is a long time. I'm never going to make it that old, but I know I don't want twins at that age.
I mean, congrats on still doing that at 74 years old.
You think?
Well, yeah, but I think you're just passing that kid along to somebody else.
I'm not talking about the pregnancy.
Dude,
I'm talking about the act that gets you pregnant.
Those senior citizens.
It's in vitro.
Those senior citizen centers are popping off, though. You got to remember that.
Well, yeah. A lot of STDs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a science, baby. She had help. Yeah.
Okay.
There is. It's facts.
Congrats to her. Anything else going on?
Yeah, we got speaking of science, let's stick with that theme for a minute. A Chinese firm cloned a cat. The world's first successfully cloned cat, named Garlic, was born on July 21st. The firm has also cloned 40 dogs to date. How did I not know this?
Well, I don't know. That's something we should know about.
They have cloned 40 dogs. It's a firm in China.
How much is it?
By the way, cloning a dog costs $53,000.
Take it all for Valerie. Does it have the same personality or just the same body?
That's the scary part. I don't think you've ever watched a movie, but cloning can be a scary situation because I think you risk missing the soul of the animal.
Yeah, because like for instance, I was never a big animal guy.
Right.
I think we've talked about this. I was never a big animal guy growing up. We had a German Shepherd named Duchess.
Oh.
Okay. Majestic creature.
Love a German Shepherd.
Thoroughbred, purebred German Shepherd. Small little house. Okay? That thing ruled the roost. And that thing, whatever it wanted to do, it did. Friends would come over and visit. They'd try to leave. Duchess was right on the Achilles. So I was always like, man, I love this dog. I enjoy this dog. But it's quite an inconvenience when my friends are just getting their Achilles attacked every time they leave. So I like Duchess, didn't love Duchess. My fiance brought in this animal named Valerie. She was a rescue dog. She was on her. She was on death row. You know, she was on death row there like a week out, and she knows that she was about dead and that we saved her life. She's the best dog in history. I would absolutely love to clone her if I knew she was going to be the same dog and just live forever.
Sure. Maybe there should be like a quarantine period after the cloning.
Yeah.
And you spend the money where you still get a refund, like a 60-day thing, just to make sure like it's not evil. For instance.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on your side.
Do you think China's cloning dogs and cats not necessarily for scientific purposes, but for food shortage?
All right.
I don't think so. But there is the scientist going around right now, Pat, from Sweden, who is claiming that the perfect way to solve climate change is that we all revert to cannibalism.
Okay. Well,
I'm like, well, maybe we save that for last. You know what I mean? Maybe we try these fuel-efficient cars first for a while.
Hey, speaking of the fuel-efficient cars, I think they're making things worse, is what I was told.
That's what I was heard. That's
Some
what I heard.
scientists said it was worse. That's why the cannibalism thing is popping up so quickly, because all these stuff that's supposed to happen for the good is
you're
actually.
right.
We've always had a strong stance at this show, for those that are listening for the first time. Global warming, we do believe, is a real thing.
Right.
But there's a couple different ways we think that should also be investigated. Are we so heavy that we're pushing the Earth down closer to the core that's heating everything?
Very possible.
A lot of people.
Or is all these rocket ships that are just poking holes through the ozone potentially letting in more heat from the sun that's Bluetoothing into our atmosphere? These are things we'd like answers to.
And all the windmills face one direction. I think they're blowing us closer to the sun.
We got questions. You probably do too. We'll be back on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Welterweight, at least for the past 10, 15 years, has been the money division. But when you look at middleweight, it's always the perfect crossroads between both.
At the top, the champ is Canelo Alvarez.
Okay, so just make sure that no one's stepping over that.
Is the people's champ, Gennady Golovkin.
It's gonna be 3 words.
Maybe number 3 is still Daniel Jacobs. I mean, his
Okay,
only
sounds
2
good.
losses
I'm,
in recent years is to Canelo and Triple G.
Perfect,
He acquitted
appreciate
himself
that.
Quite nicely.
We want Canelo Golovkin. That's the defining fight of the division. Don't think the division works unless that is resolved. There was a lot of fanfare for Jacobs. He'll return to the fray, but what does that do for us if he fights Andrade or whatever? You know, it's a nice fight, but it's sort of in its own cocoon. The others should all be fighting each other to fight the winner of Canelo Golovkin.
It is Alvarez who comes out. Good uppercut by Triple G. It's a close fight. Good jab work there. Right hands, and now very good work by Canelo. And that's it. Fellas, just a fight fought at the highest level.
160 at this point in time is very exciting. I could see a rematch of Canelo against Daniel Jacobs, because the truth is the result did not make a lot of people happy. And I think a third fight with Gennady and Canelo Alvarez is just as exciting. And I think Demetrius adds a little Cajun pepper to that mix of salt and pepper, because he brings that spice.
If there's a wild card in this division at 160 pounds, it's certainly Demetrius Andrade. We've seen Canelo in the past go up against those slick, defensive, difficult guys, the Trouts, the Laras. You want to talk about a potential for kryptonite, potential trap fight? Canelo Alvarez doesn't walk away from anybody. He takes on all challenges. Demetrius Andrade would be a great test of that boxing IQ. When you're going to fight Canelo Alvarez, when you're going to try to take on the biggest star in the sport, you gotta have power. You got to have speed. When you can put that together with a body with long arms and just a crafty difficultness, you're talking about potentially a fighter at middleweight who can do some big damage.
Oh, beautiful shot. What a punch.
Demetrius Andrade is a hard sell at 160, not because he doesn't know or because he doesn't have what it takes, because people have a hard time understanding. And I remember a very interesting quote. Boxing is like jazz. The more sophisticated it is, the harder it is to appreciate. And that's Demetrius.
I think Andrade has that WBO title that he views as a lottery ticket, and he's going to hold on to it. I spoke to him recently for an article in Ring Magazine, and he says he's targeting both Golovkin and Alvarez. If they fight a third time, then he wants the winner. But he says his job is just to stay busy and fight every other contender that they're not fighting. He says sooner or later, they're going to have to notice him because the fans are going to take notice.
There is no more top 10 guys anymore. I keep beating them, and I keep beating them. Where's Canelo? Where's Triple G? What's the holdup?
Are we live back on the internet right now? I think so. Feels like we are. There's nothing playing in my headphones. Hey, now we're playing the game, though. Things are really interesting right now. We expected 100% to have another minute and 10 seconds worth of stuff.
Stop.
Mouthpiece, how is that potentially affecting his...
Matt Matrione there. Are we live right now on here?
I don't know. It's quiet.
Does anybody know if we're live on the internet right now? This is all. I can hear our next guest live in the background.
Which is exciting.
We are live right now, Foxy says. Things are going great.
Good. All right. Hello.
Things are going really well. Pretty pumped up about this whole thing. Welcome back to the show. It is 11 o'clock on Monday, September 9th, 2019. And when I say this, I mean this. One of the biggest days of our life right now.
For sure.
It's not going bad. It's not going bad. Oh, there he is. Oh, my God. Sir.
20 seconds.
I can't hear a word he's saying. Can't hear a word he's saying. Is he muted?
Can't hear me.
You're muted on our end. We're about to come back live in 10 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now. By the way, happy 11 o'clock hour to those listening on Westwood. It's September 9th, 2019. We've covered a lot of things. And right now, our first notable guest to join us is a man who's one of my bosses, actually, believe it or not. He's a man who is world renowned. I got a chance to walk around Madison Square Garden, where Monday Night Raw is tonight, with him during a fight for Top Rank. It was all Ukraine. It was Lomachenko's people. Nice. And this man couldn't walk 2 steps without everybody wanting a picture with him. He's the founder of NXT, which debuts on USA Network on Wednesday nights. WWE COO, the Cerebral Assassin, D-Generation X, suck it, Triple H.
That's a hell of a build-up, Pat.
I feel pretty good about it. You deserve it too, though, man. How is life as WWE COO, founder of NXT, and also in-ring competitor Triple H right now?
It's fairly busy. The addition of the Wednesdays live NXT every single week, 52 weeks a year is huge, and it's obviously very time-consuming, not only from a creative standpoint but everything else. But awesome opportunity. I can't wait to show the world what NXT does.
I think it's such an interesting point. We'll start there. Back in the day, everybody knows WWF, WWE. Everybody was like, oh, that's just the sideshow wrestling thing that it is that would come on Monday nights. Some people would watch it, some people wouldn't, right? Now here we are in 2019, and what WWE has become, that you've sat through this entire transformation of the company, is now a globally stock market traded company that makes billions of dollars and produces like 14 live shows a week around the world entertaining people. What has it been like for a company that is still a family business, basically, to become this massive global thing for you, Vince, Stephanie, and the others in charge to deal with?
Well, it's been an awesome ride, but I can tell you in some ways, I feel like we're just scratching the surface. Vince will say all the time that he's been working on this for a long time, as you can imagine. But he'll say all the time, one of these days we're going to be an overnight sensation. But it really comes down to everything that's being done, and the build of it, I feel like, is just all steps of something that is supposed to take place. And I feel like even as big as it is now, when you go 20, 30 years down the line, you're really going to start to look at it as the way people do with Marvel, or the way people do with Disney, where Disney's not about cartoons anymore. It's not just about princess movies. It's so much more than that. Marvel's not just a paper comic book company anymore. It's so much more than that. And I think that is the key of where WWE really is headed. as a global brand. It's going to be, it is now, but it'll be so much more than that in the future.
That's going to be wild to see if you guys can grow even more. You have your hands in everything. Okay, you have movies. WWE production company creates bangers. By the way, we're on Marine 7 right now, I think, and every one of them's good. There's a podcast network that has been announced that's going to happen. You're on Monday nights on national TV. You're on Friday nights national TV. You're on Wednesday nights national TV. You're doing business everywhere. What is something that you see growing? Like, what is the WWE going to dive into that you see really taking? Is it going to be more in the production world? Are you guys going to create more shows? What, the network, by the way, whenever Vince McMahon started the network, he was an idiot. Everybody thought he was an idiot. Now everybody's doing it. What is next?
I mean, I think those are all things that are based on the core, the core product of what we do. When most people look at it, WWE, they just see, the wrestling product, the sports entertainment product, but it's become a global media company and so much bigger. So when you first talk about the sports entertainment side, I still think that we're just nicking the surface. The OTT or the WWE network that you said, Vince kind of started the closed circuit TV genre all those years ago. That then morphed into the pay-per-view model. Pay-per-view model morphed into the OTT, the network that you see now. And each step of the way, people thought he was crazy for doing it. When he started the network and tore up the pay-per-view model, everybody said, "Oh my God, that's the craziest thing. He's taking his number one line of business and tearing it up and going in a different direction." And now everybody's doing it. He's very rarely seen for being that vision and being in front of it, but that really is where it is. And I think as that continues to grow, our viewership is massive internationally. We're the second biggest sport. Just take it as an example, India, the second biggest sport in India. And like 70% of the consumption of WWE product happens outside of the US, but only like 30% of the monetization does. So the growth opportunity is huge. And one of the things that we're working on now is what I've coined the term of global localization on, is going to these different markets. So say, for example, India, where the geography prevents us from getting there on a regular basis, but we can go there with a brand and build a brand on the ground in India, of much like we've done with NXT here in the US, the NXT UK in Europe, and build their own brand there that plays into the bigger brand and becomes that will make the markets much more engaged and grow the business exponentially.
Think about that. See, they're just going to have like little armies around the world. Like, okay, the NXT UK, all of a sudden Cesaro will show up in an NXT UK, who's a big-time WWE star, superstar, and then now they're just bouncing around the country. You guys are normally 4 to 5 steps ahead of everybody else, and that's why it's been so fun to work under the umbrella of the WWE with NXT and kind of see how it operates. The schedule is a grueling one. I couldn't even fathom what it was like back in the day whenever you were trying to balance your diet, your workout. You were a meathead back in the day. I mean, you were
absolutely. Still am, really. Still am. That doesn't change.
You were an absolute animal of a man back in the day. And still are, by the way. 49, you wrestled in like 145-degree weather. Tore your
big 5-0 now. Yeah, big 5-0, and I can see all the white in my beard as I'm talking to you.
Hey, happy birthday! I probably should have known that going into this. That's 100% on me. What was it?
You're just getting rolling,
Day one. What was it like back in the day, whenever you guys were trying to find your business? Because now I think the WWE is a much more stated place. Back in the day, WWF and WCW were battling. You guys didn't really know what the road was ahead. You were just trying to put on the best show every night while traveling every night of the year, basically.
Yeah, I think the key to what you just said is just going around and putting on the best show possible. At the end of the day, and these are all things that Vince says, over and over, and you find yourself quoting him over time. But like, if you just put yourself in the seat of the fans, if you just put yourself there, you can never go wrong. Because if you do what's right for them, everybody will follow. And back in the day during the Monday Night Wars, for us, it was really just survival and us, kind of going out there and trying to put on the best show every night. If WCW was in Chicago, we wanted to put on a show after them or prior to them that they couldn't touch. And I think that's, at the end of the day, what helped us win the war. Is just everybody was willing to work harder to put on a better product. And that's what will always work. If you're willing to work harder and go further than everybody else, then you can succeed. So, it's really not changed now. It just, like you said, it's a bit more established. So how you're working harder has changed. It's not just about going out there and doing the individual show every night. It's multiple shows across multiple platforms.
All right. I have to ask this question. You talked about it, not me. I mean, you brought this up. So if you fire me for this question, I mean, it's on you. Coming up on Wednesday nights. I mean, for the first time in a long time, it appears as if there is a potential alternative market for wrestling with a billionaire guy that owns the Jaguars launching AEW. And they chose to put their show on the same night that NXT has been on for 5 years. First show they did, Cody Rhodes, the founder of it, took a sledgehammer and hit a throne that looked awfully similar to a throne that you utilize with a couple pyrotechnic things that go off in the background. Poof, poof. It looked pretty interesting. You seem to be back into a war now with a company called AEW. How does WWE feel about it all?
The war thing gets brought up a lot. And competition is great. So if they are coming on Wednesday nights and they want to put on the best show they can, great. That's where we are. We've been on Wednesday nights, like you said, for 5 years. It's been our home. We've been in discussions with various networks about moving NXT and growing it. Now's the right time. So if Wednesdays is the place, people can say war, they can say not war. I don't see it that way as competitive in that nature. I just see it as us putting on the best show possible. I think at the end of the day, the winners are the fans, and they'll choose what they want to watch. I'm confident in NXT. I'm confident in the talent. There's not one person I would trade anybody for. I can look at that show and say, bring your best, we will, and good luck.
That's awesome. That's such a professional.
And just like we did back in the day, when the NXT talent gets done, their goal will be to put on a show that they can look at the world and say, follow that.
Oh, I love that. That's what I did with punting, by the way. You know what I mean? That's what I did when I was kicking a ball. I was like, all right, whoever's the next game, follow that. Never in my life. But I respect the mindset, and I think all elite humans have this mindset where it isn't like we're competing with somebody else. If we are our best us, if I'm my best me, there's no such real thing as competition because everybody can get it. Like, there's enough to go around. I'm excited for that mindset. With that being said, NXT Takeovers, I didn't really know the brand much before I started working with the brand. And boy, something that you built literally from scratch has become one of the most entertaining live shows in probably live shows. You got Cirque du Soleil type athletes with an incredible toughness and a storytelling ability, both dramatic and comedy. NXT has come full circle for you. There's no way this is what you thought was going to happen whenever you launched this product, was it?
When we first started it, it was designed as a feeder, right? And it was designed, the original idea of it was basically seeing where WWE was and not seeing where the future would come from. Who is creating talent, and where are talent getting the opportunity to go and learn the right way to do things, and the correct way to do things, not just in and out of the ring, because that can be taught fairly easily, but how to produce television, how to be a television star, how to be a global star. And so it was originally created for that. And to do that, you need to have a place first you needed a performance center for talent to be brought in, and the best place in the world to train with the best trainers and the best of everything else. And then you needed a brand and a place for them to go work and ply their craft and improve. And that became NXT. And as it started, it began to take on this kind of cult following very quickly. And then once we started to roll from there, people started really wanting to get involved in it. And we knew we had something special. Then the concept quickly became, we had the opportunity to create if you will, a third global brand, which is where really I think we are now. You know, this USA deal puts it at a different platform level. And the goal will be to create this, to make it as big as Raw and SmackDown, and have a third brand that everybody is open to going to, so that talent can, like you said, go from one brand, you know, to Raw, to SmackDown, to NXT, to the UK, to wherever we are, and seamlessly go around, so that they can have a very long, meaningful career, but without just being in one place.
Jeez. There's a reason the companies were just like billions of dollars. Mr. H, Trips, Paul, Hunter, all of these are names that people call you. What is your favorite?
Dad.
Hey, that was such a good answer right there. Such a good answer. How do you balance your personal life and work life? It's like I said earlier, it's a grueling schedule, and it's an incredible family you have.
People bring that up a lot. Like, it's one of the things outside of, you know, industry talk. People ask me all the time, like, hey, how do you do work-life balance? And you know, tell us about work-life balance. Work-life balance, a load of crap. There is no such thing. When you do the best you can, just like every single parent does, just like every single person out there that has to make ends meet and work multiple jobs and be gone. And when you're at work, you feel guilty you're not with your kids. When you're with your kids, you feel guilty you're not doing something for work. You know, the biggest thing you try to do, just like everybody else, is make it work. And I think for me, the biggest reminder is to be present wherever I am. If I'm working, I'm working. If I'm with my kids, I try to turn off everything else and just be with my kids and dedicate that time to them. It's not about the amount of time, it's about the quality of time. And so, you know, you do the best you can with it, but it's not, there's no magic formula where you go like, oh, I have perfect work-life balance.
Chuck Pagano used to say, hey, guys, be where your feet are. And that's such a good quote. It's a real one. Be where your feet are. That's exactly what you just said. It seems like a lot of success. Yeah.
Although my daughter rides horses, I have to bring her to the horse farm a lot of times, and my feet sometimes aren't in good places.
Ladies and gentlemen, international businessman, rock star of a human. I can't wait until you're giving TED Talks in like 40 years from now, just talking about the billions and all the success WWE.
I don't even know Ted. But, you know, like you talked about the genius of WWE. Here we are. We're on the ground floor of greatness of the Pat McAfee time.
Oh, gosh. Awesome. You were the first you guys were the first people to put me on your network, and I'll never forget that.
Gamblers, man. We are gamblers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so thankful for not only you being my boss, being an incredibly intelligent human, and also all the entertainment you brought the world, because there wasn't a day, I don't think, back in the day that went by that we all didn't just say, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to suck it. I mean,
and then get thrown out of school.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there was a couple conversations my parents had to have with me because of you, but other than that, I appreciate you so much for everything, ladies and gentlemen. A stellar father, Triple H. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Good luck with the show, man. I'm excited to see this thing grow and become something massive.
We're on in Italy. The Pope might be watching. Anything you'd like to say to him?
He's probably on the can right now. He's watching on his phone. In a moment, he's going to look down and go, "Holy!"
I get it, because it's the Pope. I get it.
That's a dad joke for you. You can take that with you.
Boss man, thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
What a guy, man. Hey, when I say this, I mean this. It's the first Monday after NFL Sunday, and it's the first show. And I was talking with the WWE people and talking with everybody. They're like, you should have Triple H on the first show. I was like, would Triple H want to come on my show? They're like, you should go ask him yourself. I'm like, I'm not walking up to that man. And I literally did. At the last one, I walked up to him. I was like, hey, man, I think I'm about to have a live show, daily one. Will you be on the first episode? He's like, yeah, but why are you even asking? I'm like, well, to be honest, I feel like that's how you get on your schedule. He's the man, absolute man. They make so much money. I hope everybody knows that. I hope everybody knows that. And we got to get to a break. We got to pay some bills. And we'll get to the phone lines after this. Also, if you're watching at home, we're giving away a Cadillac Escalade.
Oh,
My Cadillac Escalade. 2017 does run Escalade that just so happens to be sitting in my driveway for the last 2 years. I didn't like it, but one man's disappointment can be another person's pride and joy.
Amen.
Zito will be plopping up some words on the screen here if you're watching along, or if you want to watch the replay back on DAZN app. Put the code words together this week to make a sentence, make a phrase. First person to get it right wins the Escalade. Get it out of my driveway. So thankful you're listening. It is Monday, September 9th, 2019. Josh, Eric, Uncle Brad, and Gary are on the line. We'll get to you. We'll talk more NFL foosball. Who's in, who's out, who's going to win it all? Who knows? You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Thank you, Brum. you, bro. I got. Am I live right now? I think I am. My mom texted me and Sam texted me earlier. They're like, mics are hot.
Yeah, we know.
No, I don't think
I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't think we knew.
I thought we had, because the thing was to be quiet during breaks.
Yeah, but I thought.
It's funky hip hop with motivating rap vocals, a little bit of gritty guitar, even some organ swell.
I like how they put
I
every
love a good
element
organ swell.
of the composition within the title.
I think my favorite part about it is that it said it's a rap motivational thing. He called himself insufferable in the first one. I'm insufferable. I was like, is this about me? Let's take it easy, man. All right, let's get to the phone lines. So many things happening, but what was that there? Somebody just came online there live. Gumpy's been answering the phones back there. I don't know how it's going. Let's go with Uncle Brad down there in Indiana. This man's voice is a beautiful one. Uncle Brad, what's up, bub?
Hey, boys. I just want to say, like Mr. Cortez says, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Hold on. I don't think you're allowed to do what you just did right there. I think we're going to have to potentially dump that. That's maybe a $3 million a couple lines right there. How are you, Uncle Brad?
Man, it's great to hear you guys back, though. That's music to everybody's ears, and you're going to put us in that peace of mind we always crave for.
Uncle Brad, quick question. Did you know anything about Triple H before that interview, and how do you feel about Triple H now?
Oh, my God. I knew a lot about Triple H, man. We used to follow wrestling, go to shows. I mean, you're one lucky guy that you get to be affiliated with that dude.
Hey, think about
He's
this.
something else.
Think about this, Uncle Brad. I just walked out to take a leak there. We have no idea how long our breaks are, so I kind of got to like get in how I can fit in. You know what I mean? And my mic just went out, I think, or maybe my headphones just went out. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I can't hear a single thing. So there's no way I can hear Uncle Brad right now. Everything just went completely dark in my ear. So, Uncle Brad, know that I love you and I appreciate you, but I literally can't even hear myself speak right now. I had to hang up on him.
I mean, if you can't hear him, then you
can't hear you guys right now either. So I'll just talk to myself for a couple minutes. But I guess Triple H, I was just told, has said a lot of things in that interview that he hasn't said before. I hope I can do that with a lot of people. Like, for instance, Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the show tomorrow.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh.
Let's go.
Hey. Undefeated.
Undefeated. Legend.
Now, granted, their punter, J.K. Scott, potentially won the game, right, with that game-winning punt, 63-yard bomb. How's it going? But aside from that, I think I'll be able to pull – let me tell you why. I think I can get some things out of people because I don't want them – to look bad, right? If they look bad, I feel bad. If they look bad, though, a lot of clicks. So our show might potentially die because of this. we might potentially die and not be able to continue with this. But for me, I just want to hear good stuff come from people. And speaking of hearing stuff right now, I hear nothing.
I think you could personally, you don't have to say bad stuff about people to get clicks. The way you do it is you open them up, and they say things that they've never said anywhere else before. Those get the clicks, and then we're good.
You know why?
Why?
By the way, I feel like a pop musician who's on a stage who's having a problem with the ear things because my ear things are the ear things. But I think it's because they know that they're talking to an idiot, right? so like right there, Triple H was like, there are two people in this conversation right now, and he is 100% certain that the other person in the conversation much dumber than he is. So no matter what he says, I'm probably going to be the dumb person in the conversation. And you know what? I'll ride with it. By the way, all-terrain Zito here, ATZ.
He's a Swiss Army knife.
Coming in and fixing everything right there. Oh, how's it feel? I've been working out, by the way. You went into the butt pocket there?
Basically like Mariah Carey.
And we're back in the game.
Oh, you're back in it.
And we're back in the game. Uncle Brad probably had something good to say, too.
Probably. But he'll get another chance, huh?
Yeah, I assume at some point. Let's go with Eric in Houston. Eric, what's up, brother?
Pat, how's it going, man? Hey, quick shout out to Zito fixing the earpiece and always playing on the Twitch stream. I got a question, man. I'm pretty nervous about tonight.
Okay.
Texans.
Okay.
All right. I see your gold shoes with the white, rocking black, and it looks like you might be pulling Saints tonight. Tell me that Drew Brees and his dumb kids, although they're cute, tell me that they're not going to do it against my Texans tonight, man. I need some hope.
Great question, Eric. And for those that don't understand why Eric just called Drew Brees' kid dumb, it's because I used to feel that way about Drew Brees' baby. I got a chance to play in the Super Bowl against the Saints whenever they won. In the last image I saw while walking off of a Super Bowl football field, which I'll never do again. I'll never get to do that again.
Unless you're handing out the trophy.
Or unless the show comes crashing down and we got to go bury a couple kicks for somebody. The last image I saw walking off a Super Bowl football field was Drew Brees' baby with the ear things on and the confetti falling. Mm-hmm. Then I walked into a locker room, the most miserable locker room I've ever been in my entire life. We had almost gone completely undefeated that year until we chose to lose, made it to the Super Bowl. Then Drew Brees, and that baby right there that's on the screen was the lasting image before a miserable locker room. Now, obviously, that baby grew into a beautiful child. Drew Brees and his wife are incredible parents. I love everything that they do. But at that moment, I thought it was a dumb baby. Okay?
Hey.
We're past that, though.
Put it in context.
We are completely past that. I'm excited for the Drew Brees, Deshaun Watson battle tonight. I am very excited about it. Diggs has a couple bets later. I think that we'll be giving out, Degenerate Diggs will be giving out locks. Shout out FanDuel for all the lines. If you're in a city or state that can gamble online, use the FanDuel app. It's the best one. But I'm excited for tonight mostly because of this. They get an offensive line all of a sudden with Laramie Tunsil in Houston. Maybe Deshaun Watson will be protected. You got J.J. Watt, although you got rid of Jadeveon Clowney because you don't need two pass rushers now that, especially now that Big Richard Nick Foles has a separated shoulder, collarbone or whatever. Andrew Luck's out of town, although Jacoby looks very good. The Texans didn't feel the need to have a couple studs rushing the passer. J.J. Watt is all the way back, friend of the show. He feels good. He's almost wifed up, living out in the woods in the lumber. But boy, the New Orleans Saints, the way last year ended, I think a lot of people are going to have some hell to pay. Honestly, I think that's going to happen. Drew Brees only came back because of what happened last year, I think.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much longer Drew Brees is going to play. Tom Brady's planning on playing until he's 50, and I think it's accurate. I don't know about Drew Brees. I have no idea. But after the Minneapolis Miracle knocks him out, Thomas Morstead in a 3 technique for the extra point after the Minneapolis Miracle because the entire Saints team walked off the field in complete misery. The internet lit up on fire. What a terrible way for your season to end. Almost as bad as looking at a baby that's happy on the screen. And then what happens last year? They're like, you know what? We'll come back, give it another go. No way something like that will happen again. Boom, missed pass interference call. Let's change all the rules. Sean Payton sprints down the sideline. We've been screwed, he says. Rams put on a dud performance in the Super Bowl. Let's assume the Saints would have performed better. But I don't like it tonight for the Texans. But I think the Texans are going to be good. I just think the Saints have some.
In the dome.
Oh, my God, down there in the dome. We lost by 50 one day whenever we played down there, and that place was rocking. People wearing masks and all this stuff, blacked out drunk before the game even started. That's a tough place to play.
So you think it's a positive effect? You think it's going to have a positive effect on the team the way that they've been crushed to the last two seasons and not a negative effect?
Yeah, I think it's a positive one. Because in your offseason, let's say you win that game, you win the Super Bowl. Now the Patriots have been able to withstand this somehow. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they continue to be incredible. Groundhog's Day is the Super Bowl this year. It feels as if it's Groundhog's Day every Super Bowl with the Patriots. You have no idea how they do it. But there's a reason not a lot of other teams other than Bill Belichick's Patriots and Tom Brady's Patriots can make it back. Because in the offseason, you got a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Just played in the Super Bowl, so you have a shorter offseason. You're down in Miami at the Fountain Blue. Hey, do we want to have 400 shots? Yeah, we do. Let's do that. We got a lot to celebrate here.
I'm a Super Bowl champion.
We got a lot to celebrate playing in the Super Bowl. We got a lot to celebrate. Whenever you just lose in that demoralizing fashion, like, yes, you're happy. It's the offseason. You're enjoying your offseason. But in the back of your mind, every single day, you're like, damn it, if that ref from Los Angeles that was right by the pass interference call against the Los Angeles Rams wasn't blind, we're in the Super Bowl.
I assume that's a major monkey on his back coming into this season.
Who, Drew Brees?
Yeah, that he just will do anything to remove.
You know, he's so little, too. It's incredible, isn't it? Because they compare every little quarterback. They're like, oh, Drew Brees did it. You ever see Boiler Up, by the way, he went to Purdue up here. You ever see, he looks like he's looking out the bottom of his helmet whenever he's like, he like looks up like this, and then all of a sudden just a rocket comes out.
Like a little kid in his dad's hat.
Yeah, underneath it. I don't know how he does it. He's an incredible football player. I like the Saints a lot. I like the Saints a lot.
They averaged 30 at home,
that which way you're
30.1
going,
at
Nate?
home.
But eager to see the Texans this year. Bill O'Brien just getting rid of every pick he's got because he's probably getting fired if they suck this year. You want to give up 2 first-rounders next year? Damn right. I ain't going to be here next year if we lose. I don't care. Yeah, give them 4 first-rounders.
Maybe they finally protect.
Deshaun Watson, too, by the way. Whenever he was healthy and fresh there, young, he was a stud. Think you run into a buzzsaw down there in New Orleans, though. That's what I think personally. Excited to watch the Texans, though. Thanks for the call, Eric. We'll get to a couple more calls here on the other side of the break. Diggs will give his incredible locks for this evening if you're going to gamble on the game, which you should, by the way. It's getting legal. Might as well have a horse in the race. Don't have to bet a lot. Just a little bit, you know. Hey, scratch where you itch, bro. We'll be back on the other side. You listen to the Pat McAfee Show. Are we live right now on the internet? What's that?
I have like a "We will be back shortly" up, so they can hear us.
Oh, so we're just live right now.
Yeah, I think we're always.
So
live.
we just need to assume that on the internet we're just live for 2 hours straight.
I think so.
I feel like we had a lot of questions about this particular situation a couple months ago. You know, because like, what if I want to go pee?
Right.
We're live. Have we gotten any tweets, questions, anything like that?
Let me go check.
Maybe we do that during this time.
That's a smart
That's a good idea.
By the way, do I look pretty flexible? I've been putting my thing up on this. The pants are tight.
It's a
though.
power stance.
It is. It's like a Captain Morgan stance, but a little bit too high. I do like the Texans, though. I think they're going to be good.
All about if they can protect him, right? That's what it's going to come down to.
I don't know.
Did Jeremy Tunzel, the other things they did?
Jeremy Tunzel.
Did Laramie.
Same guy.
Laramie Tunzel.
I'll tell you what, old Jeremy Tunzel. It does not get talked about enough still to this day. They viewed it as a negative. God bless your soul over there, by the way. Italy's listening. They talked about it the day it happened. Him hitting that gas mask with a bong on it.
You called it.
Now, granted, he didn't clear the bong. So there's a lot of
still
couple red flags there.
There's some people that were like, hey, did he really? I still think he lived in a gas mask full of smoke for a good 10, 15 seconds. And he didn't cough not one time. He didn't cough one time.
That's impressive.
Yes. Good lungs. He's in it for the long haul. Probably going to play 30, 40 years. I don't know if he's doing the avocado ice cream like Tom Brady, but I do know that his lungs are good.
These lights and this white shirt are making me look very pale.
You're our Italian, too.
I know. I'll get a
The white shirt was
spray.
The white shirt was an interesting choice.
Well, how am I supposed to know?
We all thought that whenever you walked in with the white shirt, we were going to talk about it, but...
What's on their dogs? Are those bulldogs?
Bulldogs, yeah.
Bulldogs.
Oh, because you got two bulldogs.
Oh, father too.
It's a good shirt, too.
Hey, what's your favorite nickname? Dad.
Yeah.
That's great.
Attaboy. Oh, jeez.
See, and I went with the wetter look today for the hair because Italy.
What dog?
Easy, Zito.
For the people in Italy.
Oh, I thought it's on the Bulldogs.
Oh, I got you because of the Bulldog thing.
Studio's looking good.
It is, doesn't it?
See it there in the monitor.
Foxy, how are you doing with the editing?
Pretty good. I think I'm just keeping it simple. I definitely had a mistake. I'm sure someone will screenshot it. It was at the very beginning, but after that, we've been rolling.
Oh, it's like ESPN? Did you guys spell my name right?
No, yeah, we're good. Everything's been spelled correctly by Z.
Should have spelled it wrong.
Yeah, I should have.
I was also hot over the DAZN stinger earlier for about a couple minutes. So
What were you saying? Anything awesome?
No, I was talking with the guy from Culver City.
Good guy?
Just about the show.
Good guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good guy.
We are going to have to work on the air conditioning of this thing. Hey, Foxy, can you get a shot of the pictures that we chose to put on the wall?
Yep. Yeah, did someone turn it off for sound?
It does. It does feel as if they just took it down.
Apparently, you're being too funny today, Pat, because I'm laughing too much.
Oh, my
Oh.
Hey, I'll say this. Internet, when something's funny and it's said right in front of me, I'm going to laugh at it.
Yeah, me too.
That's how I was raised. That's how I was born. This is America. No one's going to censor my laughter.
Hey, what's that number direct to line? Don't say it aloud. Text it to me. Whoa! Almost had our first
close.
big one.
Yeah, that was close.
How much time until that commercial break comes back? The Westwood 1-1.
I'm assuming he's going to tell me here in a second. What time is it?
Just so people know, I can't hear the radio people telling me when the commercial's coming back, and I don't know if the DAZN
1 minute.
Oh, we got 1 minute. Okay.
What's his name, Ty?
Don.
Oh,
Don.
Don.
Wait, no. Yeah, Don.
Did you guys just meet today?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Can you hear us all?
No.
Don.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Do you guys not have the light on back there, by the way? When you cut over to you and Zito, it looked pretty dark.
No, it's on. Gotta fix that camera, though.
Which one?
Ours. I don't know what happened to it.
It's just out?
No, it works.
People watching at home, when people say it came down to the 11th hour, they were plugging things in at 9:58.
Yeah.
Going live at 10. We didn't even have the whole program loaded 18 minutes before the show started.
All the graphics did not fit because of the new display. We had to redo them all 10 minutes before.
Are you serious?
Oh, boy. Yeah. Pedal to the floor. I'm a rebel. Gumpy's vibing in the back there. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. It is 11:40 on Monday, September 9th, 2019. I don't know if you're in your truck listening, your car listening, you're at work, you're watching on the internet somewhere across the world. But we appreciate you. There's a lot of options for things to do in these 2 hours. You choosing to spend it with us, probably regrettable by you, but we appreciate it a lot. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go with Jimmy in Atlanta. He wants to be electric, is what Gumpy said. I want to let you know I got a quick trigger, Jimmy. Jimmy, what's going on, bub?
Oh, nothing much, man.
How are you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good, Jimmy. I'm doing a show. What do you got going on?
I'm just driving back from New Orleans to Atlanta.
Okay.
Huge fan of the show, man. I love everything you guys are doing.
Hey, Jimmy, we appreciate that. That really means a lot. You're making me feel good. Are you a Falcons fan? Matt Ryan looked bad at
I am
football.
actually an Eagles fan.
Oh.
Why?
So you had a big day yesterday.
Started off a little shaky, but we turned it around in a big way, you know.
A lot of teams did that yesterday. It was like a comeback day for a lot of teams. And Gumpy said here he wants to be electric. What exactly does that mean, Jimmy?
I want to be like Gumpy, man. I know he called into the show, and now he works for you guys. Like that's what I aspire to be, man. Huge degenerate, man. Love everything you guys are doing.
Jimmy, we appreciate that. Gumpy, speak into the microphone real quick.
That's on me.
No. just speak into the microphone. Just say a sentence real quick.
How you doing, pal?
You hear that, Jimmy? The thing you don't have is that Canadian accent that automatically is electric. As soon as words come out of his mouth, it automatically sounds a little bit better than yours because "pal" is there at the end. You know what I mean, Jimmy? You're battling against a monster there.
I feel it in the air, the electricity.
I don't.
As soon as he talks.
Jimmy, it's tough. I mean, Jimmy, I appreciate you. I like everything you're up to, but boy, that was difficult. Gary, our guy, Gary in Connecticut, what's going on, brother?
Hey,
how are you? UPS, still working for UPS?
Yeah, man. You know how it goes, man. UPS is like the mob, man. Once you're in, you're in.
We are on in Italy, Gary. That has to make you feel good. Other paisans are listening to you. Gary was a regular caller on our live show on Sirius a year ago. He's a UPS driver who happens to be an African-American Italian man, if I do recall correctly.
That's it. Best of both worlds, baby.
What have you been doing? What have you been up to, Gary? Anything sweet?
Chilling, man. I miss you guys. It's good to hear your voice, man. You guys got the gang back together. It's awesome, dude. It makes these miserable 14-hour days seem a little less suckier.
I want to let you know, the fact that you work 14 hours a day for UPS not only makes you a noble man, but makes you a ridiculously committed man. I would have quit that job years ago. I think that is something, 14 hours delivering things, but that's the difference between Gary and other delivery people. They're Santa Claus every single day. People forget about that, Gary.
Well, it's like Dick says, I don't want to be perfect, but I mean, I can do my best.
Jeez, Gary, I appreciate you, man.
Exactly what I say.
Diggs said that he didn't want to be average one time, and it was the most ridiculous thing of all time. I have a quick take on something.
Okay.
Do we have to go to a break soon?
I don't believe so.
Okay, good. We got enough time.
Settle in.
Okay.
I'm getting excited about this one.
I wish we could turn down the lights, put a spotlight on you.
I know, because I'm about to go for it right now. Nick could hold it up right across the thing. The overtime rules for the National Football League have been talked about for years. Years and years and years. Everybody's like, hey, the NFL overtime rules aren't fair. The only people that say it, by the way, are the people that lose strictly because of the NFL overtime rules. But they have a point, those people.
Sure they do.
They have a point, because if your team gets hot and leads a big comeback to get the game to overtime, like the Indianapolis Colts, you would think that they should be allowed to have the ball, even if Phillip Rivers picks apart without Melvin Gordon with that other Mike Allstott looking guy.
Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler. They go down and score a touchdown. A lot of people were like, well, that's not fair. Jacoby Brissett was just getting hot. T.Y. Hilton was getting loose. And they don't even get a chance to prove it because the one Phillip Rivers drive and it's all over. Then you look at the Arizona Cardinals and Detroit Lions. They tie. Opening week, a tie. 4 quarters of football for nothing. And Americans, we say, we don't enjoy football, soccer, because it's too boring. Not enough action. There's ties. That's even said. There's ties.
Ties like kissing your sister if she's not hot.
Can you say that?
People have been saying that. That's why they don't watch soccer. But now in our game, it's creeping in. Last year, the Browns had a tie. This year, first week, Kyler Murray, #1 overall pick. A lot of attention. Guy was a top 10 draft pick in the MLB as well. One of the best athletes of our generation, people are saying. Wearing a chain. Got Kliff Kingsbury, handsome head coach. Never coached in the NFL before, but boy, he had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay. Let's give him a head coaching gig. They tie Matt Patricia and the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions were up by a lot, by the way, Foxy.
17-0 at one point.
Foxy's diehard Detroit Lions fan.
You know what I love about the Lions is they stay true to themselves, and they're the Lions every single year. And you can't say that about a lot of people, a lot of things. So at least they stay the same.
A lot of people evolve. A lot of people do things to get better.
People change.
People change. Personnel changes.
Yep.
Whatever the case. Up 17-0. Kyler Murray and Kliff Kingsbury get hot. They talked about how they played a vanilla offense all through preseason. Through the first 3 quarters, also very vanilla. Good friend of ours, Alan Quay Shipley, captain of the Cardinals, starting center. What's that?
He was fired up.
He's fired up. Came back, took it to overtime. They had a solo shot of him on national TV. All his tats all over his arm, screaming. The Red Bird gang's going crazy. Then they get to overtime. Drive down, field goal. Prater, field goal. That's what Prater does. Then all of a sudden the game's just over. Nothing happened. 4 quarters, extra quarter, 55-yard field goal by Prater early. Kyler Murray's incredible comeback. The Detroit Lions are back. Amendola scoring touchdowns for the Lions. Everything's happening. Boom, 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 boom. Nothing. Nothing happened. Tie. Both walked out of there without a loss and without a win.
Undefeated.
Oh, my God.
Hey,
Undefeated.
they were so close to losing that game, though. Stafford threw that ball almost
11
intercepted.
seconds. 11 seconds left. A pick that was right on the sideline there. Patrick Peterson probably catches that if he didn't do whatever he got to do. They win the game. Everybody saw it. I think I have the answer for overtime.
Okay.
Let's go.
It's kind of a take on Mike Florio's idea where it's like a shootout, okay? Both offenses are on the field. Both defenses are on the field. Opposite sides of the field, 2-point plays. Just like in soccer with the shootout back and forth, this team goes on this side, offense versus defense. If they score, okay, the other side goes. If they score, we go to another round. 5 rounds max. And then after that, you bring the kickers out. We're talking about a spotlight from the sky. We're talking about smoke coming off the field, intro music, the whole thing. Both kickers line up right next to each other, and it's just field goal, like a shootout, sudden death. You make it, back up 5 yards. Whoever withstands the distance further is the winning team. There's no ties. There's electricity from beginning to end of overtime. Both offenses, both defenses get a chance, and the most important position in all the football, the all-time leading scorers in almost every franchise, the kickers get to make a decision at the end. That's what I'm all about.
Absolutely love it.
I'm not going to argue with you, but there will be people who say, it's not really football.
Yeah, but neither's ties. Ties aren't really football either. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who have a lot of different ideas. A lot of people think the college thing is the greatest, which is similar to this, but not really. I honestly think it would just be such an energy boost in that stadium. Now, granted, picking which side you're on with the wind in certain situations, the fan base, it all plays. It all plays into it.
Could it be like basketball where you have a psych out dude next to the kickers?
Yes, absolutely. And I think you can I think the entire teams line up on either side. It's like a golf, like you're teeing off with one team on one side, the other team on the other side, our guy versus your guy.
If I were a team, I would line up on the side and just do the haka dance because that's the most intimidating thing you can do on earth.
It is, isn't it? Who did it? New Zealand did it the other day for the basketball game.
It's very intimidating.
Yes. You get your ass kicked by that team immediately before the game by a choreographed dance. That means so much. Let's get to the phones. I think I just fixed it, though.
Yeah, who says no?
Who says no? Well, the good thing about the NFL is they're good at turning things around quickly. So, like this rule, if they were to put it in, at least 2025, 2026. Let's go to Liam in Canada. Gumpy, a little competition. Liam, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, Pat? I just wanted to talk about the spread between the Texans and the Saints tonight.
Okay, where's it at?
That's 6. I got it at 6.5. I think I'm going to buy up to about 10 points for the Saints. I don't see the Texans doing nothing.
Well, I think the Texans are going to potentially do something, especially with Laramie Tunsil and a little protection on Deshaun Watson. But buying it up to 10 is a brilliant bet. I think Canadians like to buy points.
Yeah, Gumpy loves it.
Gumpy had like 45 different points bought yesterday, and he just won them all. I think that's the move. Diggs, would you like to give your locks of tonight?
Yes, I would love to give my lock for tonight.
Okay, what is it?
I am going with the Texans +7.
Okay.
I like the addition with Laramie Tunsil. I love their weapons at wide receiver now. If they can protect Deshaun Watson, I really like them there. But also, I dislike the Saints earlier in the year. Last year, they lost week 1 to Tampa Bay. They struggled week 2 with the Browns, and not the good Browns, the bad Browns.
Easy.
Took them to overtime. They have not won week 1 in 5 years.
Okay, so you're banking on Texans +7. That is your absolute lock tonight. If
Correct.
you're listening at home, don't put a lot of money on it or put everything you have on it.
No. Yeah, whatever gets your juices flowing a little bit. Whatever makes you a little nervous.
Anthony DeGilio is a very Italian kid. He's been gambling for a long time. It just got legal here in Indiana. Shout out FanDuel. I'm not sure how long Diggs' bank account's going to last, but the lock tonight is Texans +7.
Yes.
I like it.
There's a second game tonight.
Okay.
Denver at Oakland.
Oh, my God. Knock on wood if you're with me, bro.
Part of me thinks like, hey, Oakland might. The NFL's weird. They might do something tonight, but I would be so mad at myself if I took Oakland and they got blown out like this potentially. So I'm going Denver in that one.
Okay, Lewis from Denver is on the line. Lewis, are you excited about Diggs picking your team, or you think this is a potential bad thing for Denver Broncos tonight?
I think it's a good. I don't know. I think it's a good thing.
You like the Denver Broncos tonight? Or are you just a diehard Denver Bronco fan? And the fact that you live in Colorado, are you just high all the time?
Well, I am a true hard fan of Denver Broncos fan. Ever since I've been born, 1998, 1997, back-to-back champions. 2013, magical season. Peyton Manning. What can I say?
I mean, every time Peyton Manning's shown on television, it's in a Bronco jersey, by the way. Everybody in Indianapolis a little bit frustrated with that, by the way. So those that are on TV, let's put them in there. Quick question about the Broncos. Joe Flacco is your starting quarterback tonight. Have you watched any film on Joe Flacco, and what is the confidence level in the Rocky Mountain state about Joe Flacco and the offense for the Broncos?
Joe Cool, he is reliable.
Joe Cool.
We finally do got a tight end he could throw to. I do believe in Philip Lindsay, the Colorado native. And I think they got a good offensive line with Dalton Reiser coming in as a rookie. I think they might have a shot at a wild card team this year.
All right, thank you, Lewis. Joe Flacco's biggest play, probably of his entire career, came in Denver.
Yeah, the worst play by a safety of all time.
Easy. What about Gronk and the Miami Miracle last year? Thank you. Yeah, just completely debunked your
Yeah,
theory
but he
right
doesn't
there.
normally play safety.
I agree, but he was in a safety position. By the way, I like what Gronk's going to do this with his offseason, I think. I saw him just dapping up. He's just living his life. Not offseason, retirement. Everybody thinks he's coming back even more after last night. I don't know why he would. He looks small, too. He looks like he's like Foxy size.
He said it would take him about a month to get back into physical form to get back in the NFL.
He said that?
Yep.
So somebody was like, hey, Gronk, you ever think about coming back? And he was like, take me a month, bro.
Mm-hmm. He did look skinny.
Looked very skinny, just like Luck. Luck looked skinny whenever he retired. That's why I didn't think he was ever going to come back, because it would take a long time to get Luck back to the body that he has to be. I would assume Luck and Gronk know a lot more about the body than me. I've been built like a middle-aged fat guy for a long time.
Bringing Gronk back is just so selfish.
Of the Patriots?
Yeah. It's like, remember when we first put an American team in the American basketball team in the Olympics? We just loaded it with everybody. It's like, come on. Give the world a chance.
Josh from Buffalo, last call of the day. What's up, bub?
Oh, last call. It's an honor, boss. Congratulations. The set looks great.
Thanks,
I
pal.
got myself a full year subscription into Zone.
Okay.
Let's go. Did you use our link? We get $20 per if you used our link. That'd be great.
Yeah, I did. You're good.
Thank you. And $20 from our guy, Josh.
If you're not watching online, you're crazy, because the commercial breaks have been the best part of the show today, boys. It's been real entertaining.
We got 10 seconds, Josh.
All right, man. Just saying, Bills, Titans, Nashville, October 6th. You got to be there at the Olympics.
Appreciate you, buddy. Hell of a first day. Not sure if I'll be at that game, but we're going to be around the country. Winston-Salem this week. The show will be taken on the road. I think we'll remember this day forever, and we can't thank you enough. To Triple H and everybody that called in, you're the greatest. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. You've been listening to The Pat McAfee Show.